Welcome back to Bookcast, where we devour bestsellers in minutes. Today we're diving into Darkness, a psychological thriller. And, our listeners just hooked and wants the inside scoop on this dark and twisty story.
Yeah, sounds like it. From what you've shared, it seems like this book really delves into the darker aspects of human nature, exploring those desires and motivations that we often keep hidden.
Absolutely. And the story centers around Navessa Allen, an ER nurse,
Okay.
who's still grappling with a pretty tragic past.
Mm,
A car accident took her mother's life, and she's haunted by, guilt and PTSD.
I see. So the author uses Navessa's trauma to shape her perception of the world.
Yeah,
Her heightened awareness of danger
right.
becomes a key element in the story.
And that awareness is put to the test when she encounters this mysterious man without face.
Oh.
She finds his videos online,
Uh-huh.
and his identity is completely shrouded in mystery.
So right away, it's suspenseful.
Oh, yeah, immediately.
Yeah,
That anonymity really plays into our fascination with the unknown.
right.
There's a certain allure to danger, and Navessa finds herself drawn to it, even though it frightens her.
Right, she feels this mix of fear and arousal.
And things take a dark turn when she discovers that the man without face has actually broken into her home and filmed himself there.
It's a violation for sure, but it also kind of blurs the lines between reality and fantasy.
Right.
Suddenly, this online persona is intruding into her real life.
And then we get this huge reveal. The man without face is actually Josh,
Okay.
and he has a dark secret.
Uh-oh.
He's the son of a notorious serial killer.
Talk about braggage. It makes you wonder how much of our identity is shaped by our past,
Right.
by the sins of our fathers, so to speak.
And it's not just Navessa who's fixated on the man without face.
No.
One of her patients, Allie Ray,
Mhm.
is also drawn to him.
Mm.
They both seem to be seeking something outside the boundaries of their normal lives. Something dangerous and exciting.
It's a shared fascination with the forbidden, and it really highlights the complexities of human desire. What drives us to seek out danger,
Yeah.
even when we know it could hurt us.
And then things get even more intense.
Oh, how so?
Allie is attacked by a rapist who looks a lot like both Josh and his father.
Oh, wow.
It's a terrifying experience for Allie, and it triggers Navessa's own trauma.
Oh, gosh. So it's a parallel experience that connects them in a profound way, and
Yeah.
it underscores that theme of recognizing and confronting danger.
So Navessa and Josh team up to help Allie get justice.
Mm-hmm.
They take matters into their own hands, breaking into the rapist's home to destroy evidence.
Wow, they're willing to cross some serious lines to right a wrong.
And here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Ellie has connections to the mafia,
What?
and she uses those connections to help dispose of the rapist's body and car.
Talk about a game changer.
Exactly. But amidst all this chaos, Josh is wrestling with his own internal conflict. He's terrified of Allie finding out his true identity,
Makes sense.
that he's the son of a serial killer.
Yeah, it makes you think about the burden of secrets and the fear of judgment.
Right.
Josh is trying to break free from his past, but he's afraid of being defined by it.
But here's the beautiful part. Despite learning about Josh's family history, Allie accepts him unconditionally.
Wow, their love for each other grows stronger even in the face of all this darkness.
It's a powerful testament to the redemptive power of love.
Yeah. Allie sees beyond the labels and the stigma, and she chooses to love Josh for who he is.
And the ending, well, I don't want to spoil it completely, but it definitely leaves you hanging.
Oh, really?
Navessa and Josh decide to build a life together, choosing hope over fear, but you get the sense that their journey is far from over.
It's a cliffhanger that makes you desperate for the next book.
Right?
But it also prompts a lot of reflection.
Ah.
Can they truly escape the darkness that surrounds them?
Yeah.
Or will it always be a part of their lives?
It's a question that lingers long after you finish the book.
I bet.
And that's what makes Into Darkness such a compelling read. It's more than just a thriller. It's an exploration of human nature,
Right.
the choices we make, and the consequences we face.
It's a story that stays with you,
Yeah.
prompting you to ask some tough questions about yourself and the world around you.
Now we know you're eager to hear more about the ending, but we'll save that for the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, sounds good.
We need to give you a chance to catch your breath, process all the twists and turns we've uncovered so far.
Definitely a lot to unpack.
There is a lot to unpack.
Yeah. Yeah, it really gets under your skin, doesn't it? The characters are so complex,
Yeah,
and the plot keeps you guessing until the very end. It's no wonder you're hooked.
totally. It's like you're on this roller coaster ride and you just can't get up until it's over.
Yeah,
But even then, you kind of want to go back for another ride.
exactly. And one of the things that makes it so gripping is the author's use of symbolism.
Yeah.
There's so many layers of meaning, like, embedded in the story.
Like the mask, for example.
Yeah,
It's such a powerful symbol,
it is.
representing The different faces we show the world and the secrets we keep hidden.
Right. The man without face literally hides behind a mask.
Yeah.
But it's also a metaphor for the way we all construct our identities,
Right.
the parts of ourselves we choose to reveal and conceal.
And both Navessa and Ailey are drawn to that anonymity,
Right.
that sense of mystery. It's like they're looking for a connection that goes beyond the surface.
Yeah.
Something raw and authentic.
Exactly. The mask represents a freedom from societal expectations, a chance to be someone else, even if it's just for a moment.
And then there's this theme of darkness and light,
Yeah.
which runs throughout the entire story. The title itself, Into Darkness, sets the stage for this journey into the shadowy depths of human nature.
But even amidst that darkness, there are these glimmers of hope,
Right.
moments of redemption that shine through.
Yeah.
The author doesn't shy away from the harsh realities of life.
No, she doesn't.
But she also reminds us that love and compassion can exist even in the darkest of places.
It's that duality that makes the story so compelling.
Yeah.
We see the characters struggling with their own inner demons,
Right.
but we also see them reaching out to each other for support and connection.
And that's where the theme of redemption comes into play.
Yeah.
Both Navessa and Josh are trying to overcome their pasts
Right.
to find a way to move forward despite the darkness that haunts them.
And Ailey, with her unwavering acceptance of Josh, plays a crucial role in that redemption.
Absolutely.
It doesn't judge him for his family history.
Nope.
She sees the good in him, the potential for change.
Her love is like a beacon of light,
Yeah.
guiding him towards a brighter future. It's a powerful reminder that we all have the capacity for change,
Right.
and that even most damaged souls can find healing through love.
I also want to touch on the author's use of setting.
Okay.
The city itself becomes a character in the story, this dark and gritty backdrop that mirrors the character's internal struggles.
Yeah, you can almost feel the weight of the city pressing down on them,
You can get
adding to that sense of suspense and danger.
Surely. The setting is so vividly described
Yeah.
that you can practically smell the exhaust fumes and hear the sirens wailing in the distance.
It creates this immersive atmosphere that pulls you in
Yeah.
and doesn't let go.
You know, this book really got me thinking about the nature of good and evil.
Yeah.
It's easy to label Josh as bad because of his father.
Right.
But the author challenges us to look beyond those labels
Yeah.
and see the complexity of human nature.
It's a reminder that we all have the capacity for both good and evil.
Right.
And that our choices determine which path we ultimately take.
Exactly.
Josh could easily have followed in his father's footsteps.
He could have.
But he chooses a different path.
Yeah.
A path towards redemption.
And that brings us back to the ending,
Yeah.
which I know you're dying to discuss. So, without giving away any spoilers,
Okay.
let's talk about that cliffhanger.
I think the cliffhanger is brilliant because it doesn't just leave you wanting more.
Right.
It also raises some profound questions about the nature of darkness
Yeah.
and whether it's something we can ever truly escape.
Yeah.
But Navessa and Josh have decided to face the future together. But we're left wondering if their love will be enough to conquer the shadows that still linger.
And that question, I think, is at the heart of the entire book.
Yeah,
Can we ever truly outrun our pasts?
right.
Or are we forever haunted by the darkness that resides within us and in the world around us?
It's a question that has no easy answers.
No, it doesn't.
And I think that's part of what makes this book so thought-provoking.
Yeah.
It challenges us to examine our own lives, our own choices,
Right.
and to ask ourselves whether we're running towards the light
Yeah.
or sinking deeper into the darkness. And that's a pretty heavy topic for a so-called bestseller in minutes.
You're absolutely right. But I think that's what makes Into Darkness so compelling.
Yeah.
It's a fast-paced thriller that also manages to delve into some really deep and meaningful themes.
Right.
It's a story that stays with you long after you've finished reading it.
I agree.
And it makes you want to talk about it, to dissect it,
Yeah.
to figure out what it all means.
Exactly. And that's why we're here, right?
That's why we're here.
To break down these complex and thought-provoking stories
Yeah.
and offer our insights, even if it takes a bit longer than a few minutes.
So let's delve even deeper into this ending, shall we?
Sure.
You mentioned that it raises some profound questions about the nature of darkness. Yeah, you're right. This ending, it's more than just a cliffhanger. It feels like the author is deliberately leaving us with these unsettling questions about the nature of darkness.
Yeah.
It's like she's saying, okay, you've come this far with these characters.
Right.
Now think about what it all means for you.
It's definitely a thought-provoking ending.
It is.
Navessa and Josh have made a choice to be together,
Uh-huh.
to build a life despite all of the darkness they've encountered.
Right.
But can they truly leave it all behind? The story seems to suggest that maybe those shadows are always a part of us.
You know, it's interesting you say that. It makes me think about how The author uses the city as a backdrop. She describes it as this place full of shadows and secrets, almost like the city itself is a manifestation of the darkness
Right.
that surrounds these characters.
It's a great point. The setting becomes almost like another character in the story,
Yeah.
this oppressive force that weighs down on everyone. And it makes you wonder, are we all just products of our environment?
Yeah.
Or do we have the power to transcend the darkness that surrounds us?
And speaking of transcending darkness,
yeah.
what did you make of Allie's unwavering acceptance of Josh?
Right.
Even knowing his family history, she chooses to see the good in him.
I think Allie represents a beacon of hope in the story.
Yeah.
She embodies this radical acceptance that challenges the reader to confront their own prejudices.
Right.
It's like she's saying, yes, there's darkness here, but there's also love.
Right.
And maybe that love is strong enough to overcome the darkness.
It's a powerful message, and it really gets to the heart of what this book is about.
Absolutely.
The struggle between good and evil, both within ourselves and in the world around us.
And the book doesn't offer any easy answers.
No.
It leaves us wrestling with these questions.
Right.
Which is probably a good thing.
It is.
It makes for a more meaningful reading experience.
Yeah.
And it definitely sparks some interesting discussions.
Right. Like the question you brought up earlier, can we ever truly escape the darkness?
It's a question that's central to the human experience, isn't it?
It really is.
We all have our demons, our secrets, our past mistakes.
Yeah.
And sometimes it feels like those things are always lurking in the shadows, waiting to drag us back down.
But then we have characters like Allie,
Right.
who remind us that there's always hope,
Yeah.
that love and forgiveness can be powerful forces for change.
And maybe that's the ultimate message of the book.
Yeah.
Even in the darkest of times, there's always a glimmer of light.
Right.
It's up to us to choose whether we'll focus on the shadows or seek out the light.
It's a choice that Navessa and Josh are faced with at the end of the book.
Yeah.
They've decided to stay together,
Uh-huh.
to build a life,
Right.
but we're left wondering if they'll be able to outrun the darkness that's been following them.
And that's the brilliance of this ending. It doesn't tie everything up neatly in a bow.
No, it really doesn't.
It leaves us with these lingering questions, these doubts, these anxieties,
Yeah.
and maybe that's more realistic, more true to life.
Right. Because life is messy and there are no guarantees. We can make choices that lead us towards the light.
Uh-huh.
But there's always a possibility that the darkness will creep back in.
And that's what makes Into Darkness such a powerful and thought-provoking book.
It does.
It forces us to confront the reality that the battle between good and evil is never truly over.
Right.
It's a constant struggle both within ourselves and in the world around us.
I think the author also does a brilliant job of portraying how that struggle plays out in our relationships.
Yeah.
Navessa and Josh's love story is a perfect example. They're both drawn to each other's darkness,
Right.
but they also challenge each other to be better, to choose the light.
And that's the key, isn't it?
I think so.
Finding people who will love us unconditionally,
Yeah.
who will support us on our journey towards the light, even when we stumble and fall back into the darkness.
I think that's something we all crave.
Yeah.
That sense of belonging, that feeling that we're not alone in our struggles.
It's a basic human need, and it's something that Into Darkness explores in a really profound way. And we did all this in a little more time than our usual bestseller in minutes promise.
You're absolutely right. But sometimes a book deserves more than just a quick summary.
It does.
It deserves a deep dive, a thoughtful exploration of all its layers and nuances.
And that's what we've tried to do here today.
Yeah.
To really unpack this complex and challenging story
Right.
and offer our insights, even if it took us a little longer than usual.
And I think it was worth it. This book has so much to offer, so much to think about, and I know our listener will appreciate having the time to really digest all these ideas.
I hope so, and I hope they'll be inspired to pick up the book themselves and dive even deeper into this world that the author has created.
Well, on that note, it's time to wrap up our deep dive into Darkness. We hope you enjoyed exploring this twisty and thought-provoking thriller with us.
It's been a pleasure as always.
And remember, Bookcast bestsellers in minutes.